Welcome and thank you for watching this. My name is Patricia Murrieta-Flores. I'm a Mexican archaeologist and I'm senior lecturer at the History Department here at Lancaster University. When you come to study with us, one of the very exciting things that you will learn as a historian is how history intersects with other very relevant disciplines such as archaeology. And today I want to show you a short example of this. So what you see in the screen is one of the most astonishing material expressions of the Aztec culture that flourished in central Mexico between the 14th century and 1521. That is the date when Mexico Tenochtitlan, the capital of the Aztec Empire, falls at the hands of the Spanish and their native allies. So this wonderful monolith that you see in the screen is a carving in a massive stone slab. And just to give you an idea of this stone weighs around 8 tons, and you can see the size by comparing it with Raúl Arana, who is the person in the picture and the archaeologist that excavated this fantastic monolith. So the way that this monolith was discovered is really interesting because although we knew loads of different things about the Aztecs from the historical documents that survived the colonial period, and we also knew that the main Aztec city was buried underneath what is today the center of Mexico City, we really didn't know to what extent this actually survived. So in 1978, workers from the National Electricity Company were carrying out some maintenance and they wanted to lay down some cables. And while they were excavating, they hit stone. And they knew immediately that there was something wrong because they tried to extend the excavation and they saw that this was a very smooth slab. So they called the National Institute of Anthropology and History and asked for someone to come and see this. Raúl Arana attended this call as one of the archaeologists of the institute. Eduardo Matos Moctezuma directs the excavation, and they right away think that they have encountered something special. So the archaeologists start expanding the excavation and they realize that this is huge, not only in terms of the actual stone, but also the discovery, because they find next to this a set of steps that seem to be part of a huge temple. So they continue the excavation, and in doing so, the great temple emerges. And this is the ceremonial temple of Tenochtitlan that has just been then discovered. Now, the sculpture as such is of enormous symbolic significance.
If you look carefully at it, what you can see is an elderly woman whose body has been dismembered. And this is no one else but the older sister of Huitzilopochtli, who is the main deity of Aztec society. So he is the god of the sun and war, and she is the goddess of the moon. Now, the myth says that their mother gets pregnant of Huitzilopochtli in a miraculous way. So she is at her house in the top of this sacred mountain, and she finds a really little ball of precious hummingbird feathers, and she places this in her belt next to her belly, and she finds herself pregnant from this action. And so Coyolxauhqui, her older daughter, then becomes really angry with her mother because they don't know who the father is, and this dishonors them. So she rallies then her 400 brothers to kill their mother. And in this fantastic epic narrative that is portrayed in the Florentine Codex, tell us that they travel for several days to the sacred mountain, but in the meantime, one of the brothers communicates in secret with Huitzilopochtli that is still in the womb, and he tells him when they are going to arrive. So as soon as they reach the mountain, Huitzilopochtli gets born in full warrior gear, and he battles his sister and his 400 brothers. He kills Coyolxauhqui and he throws her down the mountain, and in this process, she is dismembered. So this is how you can see her in the stone. Now, this is really interesting because this monolith is found at the foot of the Great Temple, which in the top of the pyramid has the Temple of Huitzilopochtli. And the temple itself represents the sacred mountain where the battle happens. So what you see in Aztec architecture is the fantastic recreation of the myth in a physical way.
At the same time, this legend is really important because it's the explanation for why the day and night exist, but also to a certain extent for human sacrifice. This is to say that Aztec society believed that every day the sun and the moon engage in a cosmic battle where, in order for the sun to emerge triumphant, they had to feed him with the most precious and valuable thing they had to offer. This is to say human blood, and therefore life itself. So, as you can see, while we had access to the Florentine Codex for a number of years as an historical document, the archaeological discovery of this piece and the excavation of Templo Mayor has really shown us the scale of importance of the mythical realm in Aztec daily life. So, among many other things, at Lancaster, you will learn about the intersection between history and archaeology, and I'm really looking forward to tell you more about this exciting period of history when you get here.